So last night, Yvonne and I were using the time that we had now that there's just one hockey game a day because the NHL's down to the conference finals to sort of get kind of almost sort of caught up, not really on Love Island. So we're a few episodes behind, but we watched 3 episodes, and when you watch that many in a row, you notice some things, and we're still at the point where there's been 2 eliminations so far. I think we're caught up with, including last night's, which was kind of a surprise to us. But it is interesting when you watch Love Island. Now I know it's big in Britain. I know that the British version is great and all these ratings and all that. The American version last year, the ratings were kind of lukewarm. The reception was lukewarm for it as well, and there were people talking about the lack of ethics and lack of morals. I don't think people who worry about the morals have watched it. So, as far as I can tell, nobody's gone all the way on. Because think about it. So yes, you have people who are wearing bikinis and guys wearing their bathing suits at all time and out working out and getting up the dude sweat going. But there's camera crews everywhere. So the idea of getting all close and intimate, there's a camera crew documenting everything. So I mean, there's limits. Most people have limits. And that's where I think the whole moral outrage is weird. And it is interesting to see how with each day, each couple is completely different. Um, the James Moira situation, for instance, where James and Moira seemed like they were really well matched early on. I was like, this is the couple that I think I'm gonna like this couple, and then no, nope, nope. It reminded me of Weston last year. Weston was the one that reminded me of from last year. So yeah, I genuinely follow which people couple up with which. Now there are a few bizarre things with this game, and it is a game. And I know people go into this looking for relationships and all that, but it is a game. And when the new people come in, they're portrayed as being like way hotter than everybody else in the villa. And I think and we're up to the part where Lauren was added a couple episodes back, and she's in just to stir things up. Carrington's being a moron, and Connor's. Yet there are people just you watch them and you hear them talk and you go wow, and I'll come back to that. But it's weird because these new girls, new guys are brought in, and these are the hottest, and everybody's wow, they're brand new. Check them out. They've been in the villa for less than a week, and it's just wow, check them out. Okay, it's been less than a week. Really, you're bored of these people you're with already? And then as soon as they're in the villa, and the next morning arrives, then they're just part of the villa, and then immediately they stop with all of the weird sexy stuff to do. Like it was when Lauren comes in and she's spraying herself down in front of everybody wearing a bikini, and I thought she's not gonna be doing that every day. That's just because she's new, and it's something that this show does. And so I got into the discussion with Yvonne about whether or not the producers tell people before they go in in the villa. I want to say in the house because I'm Big Brother conditioned. It's very similar to Big Brother just with bikinis, and it's like, does the producer pull these people aside and go, okay, when you go in, we need you to shake things up as much as possible. We want you to do this. For instance, when they had America's vote, and again, I'm up to America's vote on who Lauren should go out on a date with. And I said to Yvonne, I said, it's going to be Connor because the U.S. is going to want to create maximum chaos. And sure enough, oh, America voted, and they voted for Connor. And then there's Mackenzie losing her mind crying, why is America trying to take away my boyfriend? At which point I thought, they haven't been together for very long, but it's intense. I remember when I was at summer camp as a teenager, and you'd be there for a week, and it would feel like a month. Summer camp would feel like you'd been there forever, and those were now your best friends. And any girl you had a crush on, she was the most beautiful girl you'd ever seen in your entire life. You were sure of it, and then you'd come back the next summer and you go, really? That? I guess. And maybe that's part of what this is. This is a very intense, very confined summer camp ish environment where everybody's running around, almost naked all the time, and the guys are all building up their dude sweat. It's weird how they all work out together. I have to say, I mean, I kind of get it, but it's weird. And again, I'm wondering, is this the producer saying, okay, so you guys all need to work out together so we get maximum gossip going? Because it's just bizarre. There are so many things people do on this show, and I think, are they being coached to do this by people behind the scenes? because the actual, who the hottest is and everything, I don't even agree with the guys on that. There were a couple guys who were like, oh, this girl's the hottest. I'm like, dude, your girl's sitting right there. I understand you may not be girlfriend boyfriend. May just be, that you're together, and you're still looking. But the girl you're with is she's pretty nice looking, or vice versa, where women are, oh, that guy's so cute. I'm thinking, the abs on that guy, you could grate cheese with it. Like what? But anyways, the which brings me to the next point, which is the jealousy and the possessiveness that shows up, which I think ties into my third point I wanted to make in this, which is poor gameplay. And again, I think people lose sight of the fact that this is still kind of a game. This is still, you are trying to win money for being the last couple standing, where America votes and says you are their favorite couple. In order to get there, you can't seem whiny, you can't seem possessive, James, or Mackenzie on some level, but Mackenzie, I get it. So James decides he's not cool with Moira going on a date with somebody else, and he kind of loses his mind. But then at the same time, he backs down and is like, hey, I'm not the bad guy here. That's what the guys who are bad guys say. And I listened to him talk, and I kept saying out loud, okay, James, you need to knock it off. And I was actually surprised. Now, maybe it did happen and they didn't show it on camera. I was actually surprised that we didn't have one of the guys walk up to James and say, okay, you need to back off. Eventually, Mackenzie would step in and tell him, hey, stop trying to project on her. And of course, James then said what, guys say, oh, the other guy can have her. Fine then. No, that's her call, not yours. Yeah, we decided to mutually break up. It was a mutual decision in that she told me we weren't going to be together anymore, and I decided that that was the end of the conversation. So we mutually decided. Just every time he talked, I'm like, dude, you're just digging this deeper. And immediately I thought, okay, so there's more guys than girls in the villa. James is gone, and I was right. So that's one of the eliminations I've seen. And then, oh wait, have I gone through 3 eliminations already? Yeah, because Caitlyn went home early because I knew she came in with this idea that none of the guys seemed good enough for her, and I thought, that's really gonna come up later. That's poor gameplay. And you're like, that's not really what I'm looking for. That's really not what I'm looking, because the guys will remember when they're picking and one of the girls has to go home. They'll go, man, I'd pick Caitlyn, but I'm not really what she's looking for. So they're thinking that in the back of their mind. But the jealousy thing is interesting, and this is where the social experiment part comes up. And this is the reason that I watch shows like this. It doesn't involve a lot of thought, which is important because some of the shows people recommend to me, you have to give your 110% undivided attention to, or you're gonna miss something. And with shows like this, you don't. Whether it's Big Brother, whether it's Love Island, you don't miss. It's just, and I just consider it like just you get yourself a bowl of popcorn and just enjoy it, just absolutely enjoy it. And watching as these people they pair up, and then immediately there's this jealousy, this ownership thing. People were mad at Trey, and I've read spoilers, I know, about Trey. I haven't got to that episode yet, but I know what happens there. And how Trey was kind of playing the field, and then all of a sudden he decided he was going to settle on Justine, and then Justine didn't reciprocate and settle on him, and then he's upset because she's kissing his Caleb, right? And I understood where he was coming from on that, and that and again, I know it looks hypocritical, but he had decided, all right, I'm going to give this a chance. I'm going to stop doing what I was doing. I'm going to give this a chance. And then when he did that, the woman he's with said, I'm not really interested. I like that guy. And so that leads to some tension there. And I get it. And again, these are young people as well. These are people all in their mid to late 20s. And so the decisions they make may not be the most logical or reasonable decisions. This is where the poor gameplay comes in. I think if we were dealing with people in their 30s and 40s pairing up like this, you would see a completely different gameplay. It'd be like, I don't know if I like you, but I think we could be popular together. You want to split the money? We'll split the money. All right, so we're going to play this up in front of the camera. We're going to split the money. Think like Dr. Will from Big Brother, where Dr. Will basically had a romance on the show, as he called it, a showmance. He invented that term. And his showmance became this big deal, and he used that in order to get him closer to the $500,000. It wasn't that he actually wanted a girlfriend in the house. It was, I can use this to get further in the game. And I think, and again, I think because they're young and they're inexperienced, I think the game side of it gets lost in the emotions of it, and the jealousy and the betrayals. And Mackenzie, I'll come back on Mackenzie. Mackenzie's fear is that she's not good enough. And part of what's interesting with this show is you've got all these people who look, they look perfect depending on your opinion, of which one's better looking than the other. But they're these very attractive people who are very, very, very insecure. The insecurity that they have is really insane to watch. That's part of the reason that I watch it too, is the how quickly that insecurity shows up, where they all come in like, yeah, I know I'm handsome, I know I'm beautiful, all right, I'm handsome, you're beautiful, you wanna hang out by the pool, all right, cool. And then by the next day it's, who's hanging out? I was talking to her yesterday. Who's talking to her? Do you think he's better looking than I am? Oh man. Oh crap. Do you think she's gonna, if she picks him, I'm gonna be really upset. Like, just the insecurity shows up right away. And I do wonder how much of it is genuine, how much is manufactured. The one thing and it's editing. The one thing that I do feel slightly manipulated on is when they do the pairing up after, and you can tell by what order they're going to go in, who they're going to end with. But I think the producers know who's going home. I do, and I think people in the villa know who's going home that night. I think it's rare that they don't know. I think they probably talk it out beforehand, and yeah, I'm going to pick so and so. I'm going to pick them. All right. Well, the one odd person out is, and then that person probably gets talked to you like, oh, it looks like you're going home tonight. But it is interesting because when you watch Big Brother, it's all gameplay. Big Brother has lost something along the way. They have lost the social game. It's not. Big Brother's all about, okay, we have an alliance. Are you in the alliance? Do you have an alliance? What's your alliance? Who's my alliance? You're asking about my alliance? You're going up. I'm going to put you on the block. You're going on the block because you asked me a question. I was going to ask you the same question, but since you asked me first, I don't think I can trust you. So it's become this absolutely ridiculous show that I don't find it anywhere near as engaging as I did when it started. Big Brother, the first, I'll say 3 or 4 seasons, there was some social aspect to it. There was some genuine, heartfelt interactions, and it doesn't feel like the show does that now. And All Stars makes it worse because everybody's older. They've all got families. Most of them have kids at home, so there's no romance. There's no who might be seeing who. It's just pure gameplay, which destroys the social aspect. Love Island, that doesn't really happen. At least not that I've seen. There is some creative editing, we know that, but this is why I watch this show. It's the social interactions, and it's seeing these people who are so attractive and really, really insecure about who's going to get picked by who, and what's going on, and the money that they're here competing for doesn't even seem to enter their minds until right near the end. Last year was right near the end when they finally started going, oh, we might get this. So I will continue to binge watch to get caught up, and I will likely do a video here and there on who my favorites are. Moira's, of the women in the house, Moira's my favorite. Villa, sorry. I think she's the most genuine, down to earth of the women in the house / villa. And I can say house too because they're in a casino. They're over top of the casino. They're in the hotel over the casino in Vegas. Favorite of the guys in the house / villa, Trey probably would have been the guy. Like, when I watch Trey and I hear him talk, and I said to Yvonne last night, I said, if there's a guy in this show that I would hang out with, of all the guys, Trey would probably be the one that I could hang out with and have a couple of drinks and enjoy myself with. And just his mannerisms, the way he reacts to things, just his general demeanor, I'm like, yeah, that's something that in my 20s, yeah, I definitely would have done that. I never had the physique that any of them do, but then again, I didn't have a bunch of dudes I could hang out with and and work out. I didn't. All right, so shirtless time to work out outside. Who's in? Good, thanks. But maybe I missed out. It looks like they really enjoy it, and they all sit and they all chat, and looks like they're really enjoying themselves. The only twist that I've always waited for is for either a woman on the show or a guy on the show to go, I'm really kind of attracted to my own gender right now. And so we're thinking about maybe completely throwing the house slash villa into complete chaos. There was a point last year where it looked like two of the women might end up making that decision, which would throw everything into chaos. I'm not even sure if it's allowed. That's the thing. I don't know if there's rules to say, hey, that's barred. You can't make that decision. I don't know. We'll see. But if you're watching Love Island, let me know what part you enjoy. And it's okay to have a guilty pleasure. This is my guilty pleasure on TV, and I don't make any apologies for that. It's a fun show that again, it is interesting how they bring in these new people and they really, really amp up just this person's really attractive and everybody's going to want them. And then once they're in the villa, they're just part of the show. And then, oh, here's the new one. They're going to be big, huge. And again, I'd be interested to know how that process goes with who they decide to put into the villa when, and what personality traits makes them decide to hold people off rather than putting them in right away. I overthink it. It's what I do. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support, for helping the channel reach almost 14,300 subscribers. It'll get there. Thanks again. I will talk to you soon.